Grand Rising, everyone. This is Artist of Truth, and welcome to my vlog. So today, I actually had some information that I was meaning to share um, months ago, but I felt it was imperative with doing it now. Uh, Again, I hope everyone is having, a positive day. Uh, Most of all, protecting yourselves. And I don't mean that by face mask. I mean just overall protecting yourself. Um, it seems as if this whole police brutality thing is really starting to kick off. Uh, Different situations where you notice police officers are using aggressive force against those individuals uh, who are not exercising social distancing and face mask, and not congregating in large groups. um, it I was compelled enough to come out because I have a document here. So let me just show you exactly what this is. So last year, as I stated in a previous video, last year I was stopped by a Doraville police officer, and the officer approached my vehicle on the passenger side. Uh, I rolled down my window. My engine was off. Um, Still had my seatbelt on, and I was taking out my ID. So when the officer approached my vehicle, mind you, I questioned him, which technically I have every right to. And anyone that says I don't have a right to question the service officer, you're not familiar. You're not that greatly familiar with your own constitutional rights. So I questioned the officer 3 times. I was very polite. I wasn't irate. I wasn't belligerent. I kept my cool. And after questioning the officer 3 times, he got mad because he felt that, hey, you wouldn't give me your driver's license, which I explained to him. I was like, I'm not driving, I'm traveling. But that's either here or there. The officer proceeded to walk around on the driver's side of my vehicle and snatch my door open and grabbed me by my arm and proceeded to pull me out. So mind you, I stated to him that I will comply under threat and duress. So mind you, after he placed me in handcuffs, then suddenly he decided he wanted to answer my question, which I respectfully and politely told him, I'm not communicating with you from this point. Plain and simple. I was like, at this point, I plead the fifth. I don't consent to you searching my vehicle. And even though this officer, this Doraville police officer that goes by the name of Officer Tally, he proceeded to just go ahead and search my vehicle anyway. I was like, okay. So mind you, I had 5 charges pending, against me. One was for headlight. Let me see. Actually, possession of marijuana, less than an ounce. Window tint. Possession of drug-related objects. Tag light. Violation, improper headlights, and obstruction of an officer. But it's really 5. It's not 6. Um, and the whole entire time, because I was only locked up for maybe about 3 or 4 hours, and then I bonded out, which we're currently working on the process of getting our bond money back, because I went to court, and before I even went to court, I submitted a debt validation letter. And basically, whenever you going into courts, be mindful. The courts operate in commercial. Anything that is about money, it's about commercial. So I submitted to the courts before I even went in that particular morning, and I submitted debt validation instruments. Mind you, the judge didn't argue with me at all. The judge looked at the information after asking me how do I plea, and I explained to him I'm not here to plea. I'm just here to validate the debt and expedite this case, expeditiously. Simple as that. I wasn't loud, I wasn't cocky, I wasn't boastful, I wasn't doing any of those things. But I was stern in my position because this is how I govern myself. So he looked at the information, he didn't say anything else. He sent me to the solicitor. So mind you, I'm still debating on whether or not I want to put this video up with this solicitor or not. I think I might just do that. Some of you all just might recognize him. But I went before the solicitor all jolly and happy and everything, because in his mind he's thinking I'm going to get some more money off these people. Incorrect. So I went before the solicitor. Solicitor was like, well, Mr. Williams, how do you plan on how do you want to handle this? And I politely explained. I was like, hey, first and foremost, I need you to validate this debt. I was like, if you can validate the debt, then now I don't have any problem complying to whatever needs to be done to resolve it. I was like, but I'm gonna need you to validate this debt, and if you can't, all charges need to be dismissed. He looked at me. He was like, no, we're not going to do that, sir. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, well, I guess you can validate this debt then. He looked at it. He looked at the debt, the instrument, and he just kind of threw it under another stack of papers. And he was like, so this must be that old sovereign citizen. And I politely corrected him. I was like, that right there, sir, you are incorrect. I was like, I'm not a sovereign citizen. Not at all. I was like, I am who I am. I am a man upon the land. I'm not a resident. I'm not a citizen. And I'm surely not a sovereign citizen. But I am a man upon the land. And I exercise that. And his whole response was, well, I'm not getting into all that mumbo jumbo nonsense and this, that, and fifth. What I'm going to do, I'm going to bind it over to another county. So he decided that he was going to bind it over to Fulton County, which it never got there. Okay. I left that courtroom. The solicitor was red in the face because he couldn't get me. Even on his best day, he couldn't get me. And I governed myself. And if more and more people were to do the same thing, their result of this will greatly change your mind. So I'm gonna go ahead and read this off to you. Better yet, I'll do you one better. I'll show you. So hopefully you can see it. But it states Georgia versus me, of course. And that's my case number, the charges. And notice that no accusations will be filed. Comes now the state and files this notice that in the above style criminal case, no accusation will be filed for the following. And as you can see, it states here, in the interest of the judicial economy, the state opts not to prosecute this charge at this time. Court of DeKalb County, filed December the 24th, 2019. Assistant Solicitor General. I'm not showing you that information to blow smoke up anyone's behind. I'm really not. I don't believe in that. And when I say that I am truly about the enlightenment and the mental growth and empowerment of the people, because we have the power. We have the power. The issue is we lack the discipline to make ourselves and our children much more familiar with these laws. There are so many loopholes, but when you don't know how to govern yourself and you're not being taught, you're not teaching yourself, you're not teaching your children, hey, there's ways of fighting the system and you can win. You can back a judge in a corner to the extent where he's not even going to argue with you. He's just going to throw his hands up and be like, yo, okay, go ahead and get out of here. That's not the only case that I've had dismissed. Actually, that makes the third or fourth case I've had dismissed. So, start learning now. If you're in a state where everything is currently locked down, they keep isolating you and telling you where to go and what not to go. Look, utilize this time to educate yourself, educate your children. Because all of this stuff right here, you start using their statutes, Supreme Court rulings, and exercising your goddamn constitutional right. It starts there. You have the power. So your joy and happiness belongs solely unto you. Stop giving away your joy and happiness to undesirable individuals. And utilize this opportunity to educate and enlighten yourself. We got the power. We just messing around. We giving other people power and control over us. Think about that. Peace to the gods.